People want positions, people want power. I'm in politics for power. You are too used to politicians that lie to you. I'm in politics for power, make no mistake. I'm here for power. Unashamedly, power. That's why I'm here.
Welcome. Good day, guys, and welcome to another episode of Wake Us Up in the Hood. And today, mainly want to respond to two comments from our viewers. I think it's respectful when you guys comment. We need to reply as best we can. So sometimes we will reply just by liking. Sometimes we'll reply by sending a message, and sometimes we'll reply like we are doing now in a video. And mainly the reason why we're choosing to record a video for this reply, I think it's because of the subject matter pertaining to those comments. And for this specific response, it's also important because, like I said, the subject matter that we covered in the previous video, which prompted these particular responses. And hence, when we look at how people express themselves, we get some insight into what their mindset is, what their thinking patterns are, and what might be the reason why we experience a particular result with certain people. These people might be blood relatives, it might be strangers, like for instance now it might be some of our subscribers. It could be familiar people, unfamiliar people you never even will come into contact to. But the point remains is we will always have a situation like this because it is really the intent of those who have constructed this reality in the way that we perceive it. Generally speaking today, it's mainly with the intent to have this type of effect that we find ourselves having to deal with such mindsets. Hence, we are reflecting now on the comments received. And once more, I want to leave this disclaimer from my side personally as Marshall, and not in the capacity of Wake Us Up in the Hood, whereby it is important for each and every one of us to set up personal boundaries so that we may protect ourselves against any external influences. With that, I'm trying to say that whatever I might say on this platform, whatever I might do, you don't necessarily need to believe in anything I say. All I'm doing is experience this reality, observe what happens, and give my feedback, my response to those I interact with, and as I'm doing now with those with who we connect over this platform. And what we are going to look at today is, like I said, it's to reflect on the subject matter we covered and the comments that we received in return. So, what is important, I first want to say, is that whatever I might say or do, I do not want you to believe what I say. What I want to happen out of this exchange, experience, interaction, is for you to be able to be using your critical thinking. You understand? Is for you to be able to question me and what I say, and question whatever you come into contact with, whatever type of information you come into contact with. You know, so that you don't just take anything at face value. That is my objective. Yeah, so I'm only giving you my perspective so that you may consider, do you really need to change your perspective, or must you change something else to get a better experience in your reality? So what we covered in the previous video was one video where Mr. Soli Mapahile explains that those elections of 2024, the general elections, was already discussed last year at a conference in Poland under the theme "In Defense of Democracy Against Totalitarianism." He mentioned that there were many prominent figures at this meeting from around the globe, more especially from here, our country, the Republic of South Africa, and mainly because they were discussing our election way back in 2023 already. And the idea of this government of national unity was already spoken about then already there at that conference. So it gives us the impression that the government of national unity was already decided upon way before the elections occurred. It's as if they knew what decision the people were going to make, right? And then we also raised the concern to say that we believe something was highly irregular by the way this elections has been administrated. I gave my personal testimony as to what my experience was with us not being allowed as party agents to see the crosses on the ballot, as the ballots were always put face down, and the side where the X was made was never visible for us as party agents in the VD where I was a party agent. So later on, and the response to that, when I asked why must it be face down, as I said, and the response I got to say was that they told us that no, it is part of the procedure, which was not part of the procedure when I was an IEC official in the 2022 local government elections. We as IEC officials counted together with the party agents, right? So now what we also see is that after we counted, many videos surfaced whereby the other districts had incidences where the numbers that they counted did not correspond with what was recorded at the IEC. So some numbers even appeared as not zero when there was clearly people who voted there, right? Obviously we got the usual boxes of ballots here, boxes of ballots there. That is nothing new. That is what we've been experienced all the prior elections, but never this, where there was a discrepancy like this, numbers, or maybe there was, and we the people weren't as vigilant in the previous elections as we were in this one. Who knows, right? But the point remains is we shared this, and I shared this, and then we still got the response to say, but if you have evidence, someone made this comment, if you have evidence, then go make a case and present your evidence. Whilst we are telling you guys, listen guys, listen, you are being duped. You understand? Whatever we are being told, this is how the system works. The system is set up for them to work against us. Because what I'm showing you is, look here, we're already challenging this judicial system, this legal system, right? Because it's a maritime Dutch system. So if they are already the same people who set up the political system, is the same people who set up the judicial system, now you are telling us we must go complain by the very same people who is oppressing us. Really now, we are trying to tell you, wake up. None of these systems is supposed to be what it is, because it's being set up to be used against us for our suffering so that they can prosper. And you want us to use the same system to complain against the system, right? Now, furthermore, the next video I touched on was to say that this GNU is not a GNU, because not 100% of the parties in Parliament is participating in the GNU. Why is there a progressive caucus? Huh? And some of our people are even saying, why are you now with Julius Malema and all of them in the progressive caucus? When we are trying to alert you to the fact that there's something much bigger at play here, and you are not able to see what is being done to you. Remember what Uncle Schwab said, Charles Schwab, you will be happy, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. This is the fight we are fighting here, and some people are fighting for a rainbow nation. You need to understand that we are fighting different levels here. We're not fighting you. Why are you fighting us? We are just trying to alert you to what is being done to you, seeing that you are not aware, right? That is all we are trying to do. And then, as Uncle Schwab said, you will own nothing. For them to achieve that, they need to have a one world government. One government that will control the whole world. And this is what we are trying to say with this GNU. If there is no opposition, who is going to be holding who accountable? Who? Right? If there's one government and that government is killing the people, who's gonna hold that government accountable? There must always be an opposition to hold the other accountable. And we are not in opposition because we want to fight you, the voter. We are in opposition because can't you see that your vote has been solicited not for your benefit, but for the benefit of white monopoly capital. That's all we are trying to do. So don't fight us. That's all I'm asking. Right? We are just here to present you with facts. And what should be considered also as evidence for you is that, can't you see, right? The stuff is happening in front of your eyes. And this is a part of what I call Stockholm syndrome. Right? Your oppressor, you will do everything in your power to defend your oppressor because you love your oppressor so much. So even if someone presents you with evidence of what your oppressor is doing to you, you will defend your oppressor. That is Stockholm syndrome. Right? And many of our people suffer from that, and we are just trying to, and it's not to put you in a bad light or to make you feel more inferior. It's to wake you up so you can take back your strength, is what the aim is, the intent is, right? And Auntie Helen Zille is confirming that by saying that this is not a government of national unity, right? And we've been showing to you guys that the DA provides more evictions than they provide housing. And some of you still say, you must work hard, like me, I work hard. Can't you? Don't you hear? Like the video I did about that professor in the last part? That professor is telling you that they created this system deliberately. You understand? To make you feel good, and they want you to feel qualified on a piece of paper, right? Because I want to read to you guys, and I want to focus on this particular comment because it's so profound. It speaks to exactly what we try to highlight. And here we gotten a response to prove to you that this is the mindset that they are cultivating in our people. Hence we have the result that we do in not just in this land but worldwide, right? But listen to this response. If I am the result of what they set out to achieve, then they have done an amazing job. And that is 100% correct statement. They've done an amazing job. But are you seriously looking at this in a positive light about yourself? Right? Let me continue. My kids are fed with a roof over their heads, getting a good education and having two hard-working parents who do not sit back and expect handouts from government. I am sorry for your suffering, but the reality is that poverty and suffering occurs all over the world, even in the most well-sorted countries. The so-called progressive caucus have absolutely no value to add other than the caucus to cause division. You see, this is what I was referring to when I highlighted what I've discovered regarding the CIA. And one of the programs they run, and I'm gonna you see what we assume, because we have access to certain information, that everybody in the whole world knows about that. You see, so I would have expected that you would know what the CIA does, but clearly not many of our people are not aware of all the projects they run. But I'm going to come back with that references so that you can be aware of it. But what I'm trying to say is, they discovered that to steer a person's focus and attention, and in that way they are able to control a person by steering their perception and attention into the direction and on stuff that they want people to focus. So in that way they are able to control people, you know. And the way they use the way they do it is to use like your radio, your your newspapers, mainstream media, and social media, right? And I also said that I also wondered while growing up, why is it that we have people, qualified people, graduating as economists and as lawyers, but our economy never gets better, and our legal justice system never improves, you see? And I said that it's because you are being maneuvered, right? Like a chess piece, so that you may uphold the rules and regulations that govern your field, right? If you are an economist and if you are a lawyer, the legal justice system. You uphold. You're not there to change stuff. You are there to uphold it. Right? You are not there to make sense, to make it better. You are there to uphold it. Same with the economist and economy. The economists are there to uphold it, not to make it better. Right? And that guy says it there. That they had to put structures in place to keep countries in Africa, the continent of Africa, where it is in a state of suffering for their prosperity. Right? And this is only for me to respond on this particular comment. It's because here you are saying you are studying towards a post-degree in mathematics and computer science, right? And I want to focus now on computer science. Mathematics is a good one as well, but computer science, I'm actually happy that you have mentioned it, that you have mentioned the subject, right? And I think here is where I can better relate with you, so that I can speak in a language that maybe you will better understand, right? So computer science is basically, for people who would not know, I'm going to speak of this in layman terms. I'm not going to use terms that they use in the profession, because layman people are not going to understand what I'm saying. So yes, you are going to disagree with me now as the person who studies computer science. That doesn't mean that and that. I'm speaking so that the average general layman person on the street can understand, right? So this is not for me to be technical here, right? So basically, there you will learn how computers work. More specifically, programs that run on computers, right? And here I want to equate us as human beings with our brains, our thinking brains, because here thoughts are generated and processed, right? And instructions are given. Similarly, in your computer, it gets information in, it processes and kicks an end result out based on whatever algorithm is used to process the information, right? What the purpose is, because each algorithm has a specific use in terms of what the outcome, what do they want out of that computing event. So in computing, for the information that goes in to the processor, we learn about something called variables. So variables would be information stored in a particular container. It might be an integer, which is now your natural numbers, or it might be a string, that is now your letters in the alphabet. And it can also be what you call it, Boolean, and so forth, right? And for that, the user of the program, there's always an interface somehow, whether it be like the interface like on the phone screen, whatever, maybe it's hot buttons like on a TV remote. There's a user interface where you put information in, like the keyboard of the mouse or of the computer. Now, similarly, from a human perspective, you get information in through your eyes, through your ears, via touch, taste, and your brain processes that information and it kicks out a result, and you have certain thoughts, etc. Now, what that I'm trying to say that you can dictate what the algorithm will be if you have that skill to program, right? The program, whatever your programs you want to program objectives to be. Now, you as the programmer instruct this algorithm to perform this function, and it must receive the information in this way, whatever it may be. It may be images, it may be sound, whatever input port you may use, right? Now, our brains process this information, the computer CPU process this information through the algorithm, and now it kicks a result out. For example, I see now the camera here in front of me, the light shines on it, it reflects back into my retina, at the back of my eyes, the light is processed and signals are sent to my brain, and there my brain instructs or gives out an output to say, but what I'm seeing is the camera, is the light, is the objects, whatever the light is shining on in this room, this chair, right? And similarly, if I can instruct my brain, or like I'm saying, I'm comparing my brain with the computer CPU to have a specific outcome, we as humans are being, to a certain level, mind controlled, because certain sounds in frequency and certain images as pictures, as video at certain frequencies are being broadcast to us over social media, in the newspapers. So it is more than just the visuals, it is actually the words that we read. And if you understand programming, you can program, the way you program is to structure your line of code to say that this function must first happen before this function, before that function. Now similarly, in sentences you read, if words are in a particular order, it has a different impact based on the order the words are, you know. So if you read a sentence, it triggers and activates your brain differently depending on the order of the words, right? So similarly, the people that are mind controlling us, they use certain words in certain phrases, in certain structures when they broadcast information to us, and us who are not aware, who is not able to discern what is facts and what is information, we will take everything as facts, not being able to discern the difference between a fact and something that's unfactual, right? So this triggers your brain in a certain way, whereby they are not here physically to move your arms and what, but through their communication, they are able to plant seeds in your brain that trigger certain thoughts. Then you think that this thought came from your brain, so it must be your thought, right? And you follow these thoughts, you end up doing something you thought you would never do. Right? So this is what is happening with our people at large, whereby they are not able to remove themselves from remove their consciousness from their physical being. And I'm not meaning to say to move it physically, is to look at yourself from a third person perspective, if it's easier to understand in that way. So that you may be able to observe yourself from a perspective that someone else is able to, and whereby you are unable to, so that you can have the ability to detect when an external force is influencing your behavior. Right? So that you can be conscious and bring yourself back to earth, so to speak, so that you make conscious decisions and act consciously. Right? And I gave that huge explanation now so that people can understand how this response, this comment is an example of that, because he is praising this person is praising that these people have done an amazing job, right? Like he's patting himself on the shoulder for running on the hamster wheel in a system they created to make sure he's gonna run on the hamster wheel, right? He's not able to step back and to look at, yeah, but the system, it's not functioning, it's not working as God intended. So let's rather put in our energy and create an alternative system, right? He wants us to use the system to complain by the system, about the system, right? And we have so many talented people, right? Here it comes again, it's a mindset thing. Our mindset have been so conditioned. Our people are so conditioned that they die with all their talents, all their potential, before it can be realized. They take it to their grave. Because the system teaches us that we must have a piece of paper to say we qualify. A piece of paper, right? Because he is saying he is going to get an education and priding himself that and here I have qualifications, I have certifications, I have diplomas, right? And I'm mainly doing this to show you that I personally am suffering. All of us are suffering, but all of us are suffering to a different degree, on a different level, right? My question is, why should we be suffering in the first place? Huh? Why must we wait for a piece of paper to feel that we qualify? Right? Why must we wait for this piece of paper before we are going to feel that we qualify? Why? There are some, I still see some of my certificates not here, but that is besides the point. It's not for me to show you how many certificates I have and how educated and skillful I am, right? It is for you to show you, because I touched on this point to say that there is going to be 1, 2, or 3 of us who are going to make it, who is going to be successful, right? But we shouldn't use that to say that, oh, the next person will be as lucky as you and I. Because why? It is set up deliberately for us to fail. Why, when 99% fail, we praise that 1% make it through, and then want to justify that to say, I made it, why can't you? My brother, I made it. And I can see why my brothers and sisters are not able to make it. So, I was on a podcast today, and I shared there with them. I never knew what it means when they say, with great power comes great responsibility. Until recently, when I saw this comment, it became clear to me, with great power comes great responsibility. Brother, you who made this comment, you have great power, but you are irresponsible with your power. And I'm sure you are the type of person who would rather not be irresponsible if you were consciously aware of it, right? So it is again just to highlight to you that yes, you are a lawyer, you are computer science, you are a mathematician, you are still a pawn in the system being used, because they set up systems so that they can be a lawyer, so that they can be a computer scientist, so that they can be a mathematician, to uphold the status quo. Why are we not building new systems? And that is what the Progressive Caucus represents. Understand? And also, there's another comment I want to respond to, and this comment, it says that when I gave my interpretation of the verse where Jesus warned his disciples that they must be vigilant, that people will come and use Jesus' name, saying that he is the Christ, and mislead the masses, And the person's reply was to say that Jesus meant to say that all men are liars. Once more, I am saying that do not believe what I say, right? And you can believe what this person is saying or not. That is that person's truth. What I'm sharing with you is my truth, right? What I'm trying to say is the truth that they gave. You should not take a truth that someone else gives you. You must listen to your own self internally and take your own truth as fact. That is my objective, so that you can listen to yourself, right? So, if I look at that statement from my perspective, for him to say what Jesus meant to say was, all men are liars, that is going to, by default, technically speaking, mean to say that Jesus is contradicting himself in that statement then. Because if all men are liars, then Jesus himself is a liar. And I do not know him to be a liar. You understand? But if your perspective on that verse works for you and lets you experience heaven on earth, by all means, have your heaven. My objective is to alert my fellow brothers and sisters so that they can see that the powers to be are in heaven, so that we can experience how through suffering, through homelessness, to being impoverished. That is the whole objective. And with all these certificates, some for skill, to qualify me in a skill, some to certify that I have a particular expertise in a particular field, some for soft skills, but still I feel I am more powerful than any of these qualifications, because these papers don't qualify me. And I want our people to know, if you do not have matric, you are talented. Your talent, your breath qualifies you. Yeah. So again, our viewers, especially the ones who made the comments and the ones whose comments I'm responding to. And another comment before I conclude. I am giving so much information, and I'm also highlighting that Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, the Honorable Mr. Gayton McKenzie, he is not being truthful to the colored people. And evidence that many people are under mind control when it comes to PA is the response I received. You know, that guy said, you don't make any sense, you talk nonsense. He disregards all the stuff I say, and then he say viva. He doesn't respond to the statements I make with facts, because I'm bringing facts to the table. You dispute my facts without any facts in return. We can't be reasoning like that. And this is once again a product of the mindset cultivated by the system, the schooling system, education system, the legal system. The idea and the purpose, the mission, the goal is for you to develop critical thinking. But let us engage in the comment section. Let us engage, please. And let us do so productively. I feel like I don't want to conclude this episode because there's so much more to cover, right? There are still stuff we need to look into that I covered on that video. I don't want to say we can't have comments like these. I'm saying, okay, right, let's detect them, but let's be willing to transform. The goal is for us. You should not be the same person who you were before you watched an episode of Wake Us Up in the Hood. By the time you're done watching an episode of Wake Us Up in the Hood, you must be a new person. You must be transformed. You must be born again. You cannot be the same person day in, day out, year in, year out. You must transform if you want to get to heaven. Yeah, but let's take it down a notch and bring it to a close. So once more, thank you for an opportunity to engage with you, our viewers, our subscribers, and for those of you who do watch but not yet subscribe, please hit that like button, share. You know, we're doing this for your benefit and ours. You know, but it's for the best interest for the human experience, at least for me personally. So thanks for supporting by liking, sharing and subscribing. Most importantly, watching, commenting. We appreciate to engage with you, and we want to bring you some more. We want to develop you. We want to be developed by you. You know, because I'm a new person, I'm a different person. Every time I read a profound comment, you know. So let's build one another. Let's multiply so that we may overcome, and we shall overcome. See you in the next one.